Mr. Allen, it has been well documented that there is a problem with heroin addiction, both in the state, in the county, and locally. What would or could you do to address this concern as mayor?
This issue touches me very deeply. I feel very deeply about this. 3 of my very close friends lost their children to this epidemic this year. And what I will do, I will fund an officer for our own town to have our own drug enforcement in this town. And I've already addressed the county commissioners. They put on a 0.25% sales tax. I've already addressed them and asked them, what is Streetsboro getting? What is Streetsboro getting? And they asked me, what would you like, Mr. Allen? I said, you're going to get $5 million. I want you to fund a teacher to put in our schools to preempt this problem, or into the city hall if the schools do not want it. I want you to fund us a drug enforcement officer in our town. That's what I want. I want you to fund us a counselor so we can run a rehabilitation program within our town for the children that are rehabilitating, for the families. I had a mom call me the other day. She just gave up on her son. She gave up. She's ready to he'd be happier if he wasn't here. And I don't know where to turn to. I don't know what to tell her. And this community cannot keep turning their backs on these people. We cannot. This was the second biggest issue when I knocked on doors for council. I brought this to the floor of council. I brought this to the administration and asked for help. I asked to implement something through Parks and Rec to no avail. These are some of the reasons I'm running. Thank you.
Heroin is definitely a scourge, not only in our city, but throughout America. We currently have one of our officers involved with the Portage County Drug Task Force. They have been very successful in reaching out and nabbing some of the big drug dealers that are around here. Our drugs are brought into this city from outside. We don't have the drug pushers, we have the drug users. One of the judges that was just elected has made it known that she wants to begin a program within the county to head this problem off. It's not a problem that's going to go away overnight. When we can provide more jobs and when we can provide more of the counseling and the necessities there are to make sure that these drug users and drug abusers are taken care of before it becomes a problem. It's not a problem that's going to be solved overnight. It's not a problem that's going to be solved by throwing more and more police. This is an individual problem with individual people that affects all of us profoundly. I too have lost friends to the heroin epidemic. I treated people as a paramedic because of the heroin epidemic. And it's not a good sight to see. We had a gentleman that was down to his last couple breaths and we're able to reverse it. We know that there's a problem out there and we are addressing the problem, but it's not a problem that's going to be solved overnight. We have to keep working in the direction we are and giving our police officers and our judges the tools that will help to alleviate this problem.
I want to move into some questions now dealing with development. Mr. Broska, as we drive through town, we see a lot of vacant storefronts. In detail, what can the city government do to encourage more tenants or redevelopment? When answering, please also address the vacancies at Market Square Plaza. And there was also a question this evening dealing with traffic. If there's an increase in traffic, what would be the traffic pattern improvements necessary for that area?
There's two different animals. We have industrial vacancies, which right now the city of Streetsboro sits at about 7.8%, which is about 5% below the national average. Vacancies in the industrial park are to be expected. We don't dictate to people whether or not they can move or whether or not they don't run their business profitably and have to go out of business. As far as the commercial areas, I don't look at the empty buildings as much as I look at the buildings that are full and thriving. We have a Lowe's, we have a Home Depot, we have a Target, we have a Walmart. We have many businesses. We have 34 restaurants in this city that are busy on a regular basis. A lot of the businesses that have went out have been eateries. The average lifespan of an eatery is 7 years. And we've had some that have survived way beyond that. The other thing is, a lot of these storefronts that you see are small. They're 1, 2, 3,000 square foot buildings. Those are individual businesses. These are people that are taking a chance, that are doing a startup business. We provide the businesses in Streetsboro with 53,000 cars a day going through the center of town. And if they can't attract the customers with their business, having that type of exposure, I don't know what else there is to do for these people. If you market your product well, if you give a good product, if you do the things that you do to make your business successful, we provide you with the customers. You know, many of these buildings were built on speculation. I look at, down to 30 seconds. I look at the Market Square area. That problem is not a problem of our making. Oh, sorry about that.
Is that a go? Oh, Market Square. Let's talk about Market Square first. Our master plan. I worked very hard with the master plan to get to Market Square in the future land use as a medical corridor / walkable community. Example of First and Main. First and Main type setting, or a Acorn Alley. It's a process. You got to put it in a future land use, then you have to get the zoning text to match. 2 years we have no zoning text. 2 years. Waiting on the administration to get the zoning text. The next part of the process, then you have to go to the voters, change the zoning. We're not there. That place is in receivership. It's ripe. It's ready. These things should have been done. We should be shovel ready right now for that, so we could go after a developer. 3 years ago, I had conversations with land acquisition companies that were very interested in doing this. They don't even want to talk to me today. They said, when you get your zoning in place, call. If you become mayor and you get your zoning, call me, I'm interested. These are the things I have in mind for Market Square. Aggressively getting that done. As far as vacancies, we have 72 vacant storefronts, retail storefronts. We have 24 vacant industrial sites. You ask if we can negotiate them. We can work with the owners. You absolutely can. That is my best attribute in business, is making deals. I will go meet these people, these property owners, sit them down, explain to them how to work their rent, how to fill their building, because I know how to do this. There's a businessman sitting in here tonight from Cleveland. I put a deal together for him that couldn't be put together for nobody else. Very lucrative deal for him and another man. This is what I specialize in. Get me in there, I will fill these buildings. I know how to do it. I can do it. Thank you.
Mr. Allen, do you believe the city should engage in tax abatement in order to attract new business?
I don't like tax abatements. Let's get that out there right now. I don't like them at all, but they're a necessary evil. Whether you like it or not, they're a necessary evil. What's so funny? I don't like tax abatements. Nobody in this room likes tax abatements. At the end of the day, they're a necessary evil to attract business and attract income into this city, to attract residents to move to this city. They have to be used. We're going to use them. Under my leadership, we will use them. But in saying so, I will chop up the income tax, because I understand the importance of keeping our housing affordable. And we cannot keep going back to the residents to raise the taxes for school levies. So we have to make the schools whole from economic growth and development. This will reach a success. This is how you keep your affordable housing. Thank you.
I'm not in favor of 100% tax abatements, which was a frequent tool that was used in the past to attract businesses here. But tax abatements are a necessary evil. The communities around us, Aurora, is using a 15-year 100% tax abatement to lure business. The city of Twinsburg, with their new industrial park on Route 82, is offering essentially the same deal. We have to use tax abatements, not to that extent. I would fight against any tax abatement that is for 100%. I don't believe in that. We have to make our schools whole too. And to take those taxes from our school for 10 or 15 years is just counterproductive. We can't afford to do it.
Mr. Broska, the road construction along State Route 14 by the new high school has made it a little bit difficult for some of the businesses along that route. How much input does the city have in these types of projects, and what can you do in the future to lessen the impact on local businesses and residents?
We met with the construction company that was going to do that, and one of the first questions we asked is, can you do this at night to help to alleviate the pain? Their response back to us was if they would have done the project at night, it would have driven the cost up of that project almost $200,000. That was not something that we wanted to do. The first day we went out, and there was some traffic. Their construction area was too large. The amount of time that it took the vehicles to traverse from one end to the other was too long. So we made recommendations. We made adjustments. We cut the construction area down. We made sure the traffic in the morning, we didn't allow them to start until 9 o'clock in the morning to help with the outbound traffic for people getting to work. And they had to stop by 6 o'clock at night, and we did allow them to work on Saturdays to get ahead. And in the evening, priority was given to the traffic that was eastbound. The traffic tie-ups that were out there were minimal. I leave my office, and it usually is a 5 to 6 minute drive home for me. The longest it took me was 6 extra minutes to get home. I don't consider that a huge burden on anybody. We are going to have construction. We are going to have orange barrels. It is a fact of life. We managed that project along with the school system and along with the construction company that was out there. We managed it to make the impact minimal. We don't have the ability to have these people work at night. The other part of it was, if we worked at night, what about the residents that would hear the noise and everything? It just wasn't feasible. But the impact of that project was minimized over the stuff that we put in place.
I couldn't disagree anymore. I live on 14. I spend 15,000 miles a year between that section where they were working on the road. I sat 20, 25, 30 minutes. It's ridiculous. I know business owners residents, business owners that lost a lot of money. I've run construction jobs my entire life. A lot of them, very good at it. I've been paid a lot of money to run them because I'm good at it. Absolutely could have been ran at night, should have been ran at night, and you save money working at night. I've never ran a job at night that I didn't save money. It's always quicker, faster, you don't have to deal with the road traffic. Not the whole job could not have been worked at night. There was a small section, about 20%, 30% of it, we would have had to work for the day. But we could have minimized the traffic, we could have saved the contractor money, and we could have helped the businesses and not had such an impact on them. Thank you.
Mr. Allen, many new projects are underway in the city: the new high school, expansion of the elementary school, the new water tower, the extension of Phillip Parkway, and the widening of Frost Road. At the conclusion of these projects, what would you envision as the city's next steps forward?
The next step forward? The next step forward under my lead will be long-term plans, so we can plan for a city hall, a rec center. The first project to be done and exhaust all avenues to get there is widen State Route 14 and get sidewalks there. That is the next project. And as far as the big plans, the pie in the sky plans, that will come in long-term plans and do a cost analysis on City Hall. And we'll know what the best way is to go on City Hall, when we're going to get a City Hall, when we can replace City Hall, if need be replaced. Then you'll be able to know when we can get a rec center. But as he spoke earlier, he talked about a rec center. He says, I'll figure out a way to get it. This is not what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you long-term plans. You're going to be able to look in a book through the Budget Advisory Oversight Commission with council, passed by resolution, with plans, so we know we can get these things. Thank you.
As we've done for the last 4 years, we have planned major infrastructure projects, major road projects that will start beginning next year with the Frost Road extension. We started this year with the Phillip Parkway extension and the Frost Road, the remaking of the Frost Road corridor on both ends. State Route 14 is on our radar. State Route 14 will be applied for this year. It'll be a project that will come to fruition probably in 2021. The way that the grant system works, it's usually about 4 years out, 4 to 5 years out. We recognize the need long before we were going to put a high school out there. It's one of our highest accident areas in the city, even now. So we do realize that that it needs to be taken care of. The next project after that will be the widening of State Route 43 North. We have to wait for the turnpike to widen the bridge over State Route 43 so that we can fit the extra lanes underneath there. We do have a plan, and we've been working the plan. And council so far has been good with us. They have agreed with what we needed to do. We knew that there were things that needed to be done now. Our focus in these last 4 years has been on you, the people. We have made the commitment to do the things within the neighborhoods and within the communities. Now we need to turn to the city as a whole. And we need to find a way. We need to plan. We need to look and find a way that we can get a new city hall without going to the voters, or without going to the taxpayers, I should say. And we will find that way. This is something that we do day in and day out.